Thrilled to be here this morning in beautiful Palm Springs. Thank you so much all for coming out. I do extend my love to you, and I do want to extend Dr. Sharon's love to you as well. I spoke with her this morning, and as Reverend Dennis and Reverend Michael mentioned earlier, she is recuperating and regenerating. The surgery was actually almost 5.5 hours, and I was there holding energetic space. And I think Loma Linda Hospital experienced something very different and very new, because it was the surgeon and the assistant and the anesthesiologist and Dr. Samantha Lewis, whom many of you know, and myself and Trish, Dr. Sharon's daughter, and we all held hands together. And it was, in a way, almost it felt like a little bit of skidding. Doctor and doctor and doctor and doctor. But we all handheld, and we invoked the light of the divine, knowing that the procedure that was about to take place was already done and perfect and already complete within the universal substance. And though it was a lengthy procedure, the doctors were just so participatory in the blessing, and it was such a wonderful thing to experience that, knowing that this way of life, and knowing that within the way that we lead our life within the spiritual movement, knowing that we are divine energetic light beings, and that we are whole, perfect, and complete within the eyes of God, the Absolute, and that Western medicine and Eastern medicine and energetic medicine all can work together, and everyone is open to it. And how wonderful that was. In that moment, we created a shift that I know has ramifications across the planet for the way that medicine is practiced, and how Western medicine then includes spirituality and other modalities of energetic healing. So I'm very, very grateful for that moment to have taken place, because I know that right now, even as I speak here, we are still in that moment, in that place. And I do want to share the blessings from Dr. Sharon. She did say thank you so much for the cards, and thank you so much for the donations to Interfaith in Dr. Sharon's name, rather than sending flowers or things, because for anyone who has been in her home, she has more than enough stuff. We all know that. So, thank you. Now, here we are today speaking about shifting. And shifting in the moment. Shifting the moment. Now, it is, I understand that one of my quotes has already been used in this morning's meditation, because I do have it, but I will share it anyway. So, the narrator says, "What day is it?" "It's today," squeaked Piglet. "My favorite day," said Pooh. From the great sages. From another great sage, I would like to share this. "I, not events, have the power to make me happy or unhappy today. I can choose which it shall be. Yesterday is dead. Tomorrow hasn't arrived yet. I have just one day, today, and I am going to be happy in it." And this is from the great sage, Groucho Marx. You know, sometimes the lessons that we receive come from very interesting places, places we would not expect them to be. Sometimes we forget to live in the moment, because the moment can be very challenging. Sometimes we look out into the future and say, "Oh, these are the things that I desire. These are the things that I desire to create." We live in a material horizontal plane. And from that place, we know, because we have all experienced, anyone here has experienced the past? Yes, possibly. Remember something about there being a past? So from having a past, and this instant, this moment having arrived, we presume that there is a future. So we have been conditioned to look towards the future. And that's a wonderful thing, looking towards the future. However, how often do we look towards the future so much that we forget to live in the moment, in the present, in the now? Whether it is us here in this sanctuary, or whether it is those who are joining us via the World Wide Web, think about how often have we focused so much on the future that we forgot to experience the present. How often have we said and have we thought, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if. And that arrives. And what are we doing? Oh, this is wonderful. I'm so happy that I got this, but I'll be happy when I get more. I'll be happy when the next thing happens. I'll be happy when this person changes. I'll be happy when I change in this way or in that way. Oh, I'll be happy if I have that really pretty thing that I can wear on my finger, or a new pair of shoes, or whatever. That great car. Things do not fulfill us. What fulfills us is spirit. What fulfills us is standing not only in that horizontal line and looking forward and all too often looking backward. What fulfills us is standing in the vertical place where the horizontal and the vertical axis takes place. This is where we belong every single second of each and every day, because that is the now, that is the present. And in this place, we are able to shift in the moment. And when I say shift in the moment, what can I shift in the moment? I can shift my consciousness, I can shift my emotions, I can shift my reactions. But living in the moment without being mindful of the moment does not bring me that full fulfillment. When I live in the moment, I need to be mindful of the moment. Whether it is as simple as being grateful for the fact that my foot goes up, my knee works, my body works, and I can take a step. That my lungs expand with air and I have the ability of breathing in this oxygen. Being grateful for this moment in which, with every single inhale, I am inhaling divinity. I am inhaling the divine essence, the divine spirit that I am. From this place, now, whatever comes at me, I can stay firm. I can stay in my knowing. And I have the ability of reacting from choice in mindfulness rather than reacting from habit, from emotion. I do not say that emotions are not valid. They're very valid. However, our emotions very often will swing like the pendulum, high and low, high and low, high and low. But if I can stay in this axis between the vertical and the horizontal, if I can stand very centered, walk centered, live in the world and be not of it. This is what it means to walk upon this planet, but to not be at the effect of the planet, but to be the cause in my own life with the choices that I make to be mindful. Sometimes it's not easy. I always use myself as an example because, well, who else do I have to use as an example but myself? It's the most personal, and it's the only one that I really know. So in my life, in my world, I have to make decisions, just as all of us do. And in the recent past, I had a decision to make as to how am I going to handle this situation. Many of you, some of you have met my mom. Many of you know that she moved back to Poland years back. And my mom, oh, it's been many, many years now. She had a dream that my grandma, her mom, came to her and said to her, "You are going to die the day after your birthday." And my mother was very grateful for that message because now she knows when she's going to die. Except, she said, she didn't tell me what year. So my mom is very unhappy about the fact that she does not know what year. But if she lives until April 3rd, April Fool's, right, is her birthday. If she lives until April 3rd, then she knows she has another year. So this is really good. However, my mom, this having been ingrained into her, and not being someone who lives in the present, truly in the present, but lives in the past and projects into the future. And this is a woman who's been dying since she was 50, and she's 88 now. Well, she, last year, the day after her birthday, took a fall and broke a bone in her pelvis. And the surgery went very well, and I did distance energy work, and then I went and saw my mom and went through all of this. It was wonderful to spend the time. And of course, she was unable to come home to her apartment. She had to go into a live-in care facility where there would be someone there to help her to cook for her because she had to recuperate. So she was in the live-in care facility for almost a year. And she, this year, insisted on coming home, back to her apartment. And I was very happy that she was feeling so well. However, I wanted her to come back about mid-April. She wanted to be there before April 1. Oh, we get right. She wanted to be there before her birthday. So she got there even actually in time for Easter, so she spent Easter Sunday in her home. And here I am, as we all get caught up in the world of emotions, and especially things that have to do with our own being, with our own families. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? This means that she's going to be alone in her apartment the day after her birthday. What am I going to do? Because I was not successful in having her come home after her birthday. She insisted. And since I'm not there, I'm here, that did not, I had less impact on her. So I went into my higher being, and I called for answers from God, the Absolute. And as I was speaking with her, what a wonderful thing, Skype, to landlines, it's so good. I'm speaking with her, and this is what came to me to say to her. Your birthday is coming up, and this dream that occurred. And she said, oh, yeah, I don't think about that. It's out of my mind. I said, I understand that it is. And I also know that God is going to take you, because these are the words that she can relate to. God is going to take you when God wants to take you. Don't help him. Don't help. Remember what happened last year on April 2nd? And how you suffered and how you had to be in a hospital and this recuperation. And here you love living in your own place. You love being independent. You love being in your own apartment. Don't help. And of course, she's doing very well. Thank you. We're very grateful. I am very grateful. So, I thought and thought and thought and thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? I made up all kinds of stories about why she should not go back to her apartment until after her birthday, whether, etc., etc. She didn't go for any of that. I wasn't present in the moment. In that moment, I got caught up in my emotional world. I got caught up on the personal world. And for that moment, or a few days, as far as that situation was concerned, I was not living aligned with my own higher spiritual being, with the light of God, the Absolute. The moment I stepped into it, the answer came. The answer was the right answer. And that is how it is in all of our lives. That is how it is in all of our lives. Living in the moment is a maintenance process. It's a practice. It is truly, truly a practice. And it's a self-remembering practice. And what do we need to remember? But one thing. I am. I am a divine light being. There are so many teachers and avatars that have come before us who have said, live in the present, live in the now. That is where the answer lies. Sometimes it's hard to live in the present, live in the now. It's hard to even define it. But if we come back to that one thing, if we come back to the I am, and when we come back to that divinity, the instant that I say I am, the divine light of perfection shines through me. I am aligned and anchored into the planet Earth. I am aligned and anchored into the heavens, into the heart of God, the Absolute. And I walk my horizontal path on my life, on my soul's journey. And I walk it in my knowing that I am a divine light being. Walk your life from this place. Remember this thing. I am. I am a divine light being. I leave you with this. Thank you so much for being here. I am. Namaste.